a lot of the good work. I mean, again, like, man, as a Democrat who has been left homeless, who is now definitely in the center, but probably leaning increasingly right, I'm left yet again with an appreciation, despite the message of the Trump administration, because what those guys did was pretty incredible in hindsight. These Abraham Accords, the accords with Israel and the GCC, the almost accord between Israel and Saudi, to really be able to like find a long-lasting peace is just a real example for the world. And those guys did a lot of really good work. And
it's a miracle, actually, when you look at it. What they did, despite the fact, listen, I'm no fan of Trump, and I am too homeless.
But this is where,
but can I say this? But if you want to objectively look at what they did, it was good work. It was great work.
You have to. And in fact, this is a moment where you have to start to re-underwrite, like, is your, not you, Jason, but I'm just saying collectively, is one's Trump derangement syndrome causing more damage than anything that Trump could have actually done? And I think the answer is yes, because like it's now causing us to not see that good work and then embrace and extend it. So much of the work that happened in that administration turns out to have been right. And that's what's so frustrating for me. The work on the border wall. We didn't like the messenger, so we killed the message. Turned out it was right. Issuing long-term debt to refinance when rates were at zero. We didn't like the messenger, so we killed the message. A structural peace in the Middle East. We didn't like the messenger, so we killed the message. When are we going to stop shooting ourselves in the foot?
All right, guys. So we got to react to this very fascinating segment here from the All In podcast. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with the All In podcast, I've covered probably a couple of stories involving them before, but they are a group of billionaire friends who are all kind of politically diverse, right? And this video is we're going to be starring David Sachs, who's like a tech bro libertarian. He has basically been a DeSantis supporter, okay, at least so far, at least up until now. And Chamath, who is a liberal Democrat who is homeless now and is leaning more right because he's slowly but surely taking the red pill in regards to Trump and the corruption of our politics, the establishment, and Democrats. And I want to react to their reaction regarding the Colorado Supreme Court decision to keep Trump off the ballot, citing the 14th Amendment, which again is just ridiculous because Trump, or nor anybody involved with January 6th, has been criminally charged with insurrection, let alone convicted. So this is unprecedented, okay? And I think what is happening here is, like I told you guys, before, when it comes to mainstream liberal media, the more that they attack Trump, the more they go after Trump, it actually gives credibility to Trump that, hey, all of these things that are happening to me are politically motivated, right? It makes more people see that. And although these guys are billionaires, I consider them to be kind of normies in regards to like politics, okay? And they're finally waking up and starting to see what's happening, okay? The obvious political persecution of the United States president. And that is making a lot of people uncomfortable. And that's why I think this segment is so fascinating, because these are not overt Trump supporters. These are people who really don't want to support Trump, but probably are going to turn around and support Trump because of the attacks by the liberal media and the political persecution of Trump, right? It's become so obvious that you can't even deny that it exists. And again, it's making normies uncomfortable. So I think that their reaction, despite them being billionaires, I do think that their reaction is valuable because I think it shows you kind of where some other people in the country may be who have some similar political leanings as these guys do. Again, I don't think that any of these guys are, overt like pro-Trumpers. I could be wrong about that. But I know for a fact that Chamath definitely was not on the Trump train. And David Sachs supports DeSantis, which means that, he's kind of actively, campaigning against Trump by essentially sending money to DeSantis and supporting DeSantis. But again, listening to these guys talk about what's happening, it seems to me that they're taking a red pill. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
Democracy now means the right of the people to vote for candidates approved by liberal judges. And yes, J. Cal, all of these judges were Democratic appointments. I think this case makes clear that the point of all of this lawfare against Trump is to keep him off the ballot. Until now, they've been pretending it's about something else. And I think this decision rips the mask off all the legalistic bullshit that we've heard throughout 2023.
I mean, come on, brother. Listen, you should have known that a long time ago, right? When they were throwing all the indictments at him at the same time, they're all trying to line up the court dates to make it harder for Trump to campaign, or right before major primary elections. Like, I mean, it clearly and obviously was politically motivated, right? The fact that Biden got away with his classified document scandal, Hillary got away with her scandal that she had, clearly politically motivated, right? You should have known way before now that this was politically motivated, okay? But again, this is what I'm talking about, guys, right? Before, right, there was kind of plausible deniability. You could say, well, you know, this is a coincidence, right? That all this stuff has happened at the same time, right? That they're trying to financially bankrupt Trump, you know, at every level, state level in New York. They're trying to lock him up, throw him in prison, okay? RICO charges, all types of crazy stuff. Like, they're charging him with things that they refuse to charge others with that, you know, may or may not have committed similar crimes. So, again, it clearly and obviously was politically motivated from the get-go. Now people are realizing and saying, oh, well, it's definitely for sure politically motivated considering what just happened in Colorado. I think a lot of people are seeing that. And I think Trump's poll numbers are going to just continue to skyrocket because of it.
I mean, Democrats don't really give a damn whether he paid off a porn star or kept classified documents or supposedly led a racketeering conspiracy. They just don't want him standing for a vote that he might win.
Facts, right? Facts. They don't give a damn about that. They don't give a damn about corruption, okay? They don't care, because if they gave a damn about corruption, then again, Biden would be facing charges from the DOJ for his classified document scandal, but he's not, okay? Hillary would have faced charges for her email server scandal, but she's not. They don't give a damn. All they're trying to do is basically to overthrow our republic, okay? I would say democracy, but I mean, clearly we don't have a democracy.
And I feel like all of the time we spent on this pod earnestly debating the details and legalities of the documents case, it was a total sucker's game. That's the narrative they want us engaging in. It never had anything to do with documents. They just want to keep them off the ballot. And I think that by being so naked about this, by ripping the mask off what they're trying to do, the Colorado Supreme Court has really done us all a favor. I mean, the Supreme Court of the United States is surely going to reject this decision. But the lasting impact is going to be in revealing liberalism's true face. They are the real authoritarians. And while restricting the right of the people to vote for the candidate who is leading the polls right now, they proclaim that they're saving democracy. I mean, they self-glorify and engage in this self-righteous rhetoric that they're saving democracy. I mean, the rest of the country, any normal person is looking at this and saying these people have completely lost touch with reality.
Facts. Facts. That's why Trump's poll numbers keep going up. I'm telling you guys. That's why I think these conversations are so fascinating, because I do think that from a political perspective, the transformation of these guys, again, is fascinating. Okay? Because I do think that they represent at least people that are kind of in the same political alignment as them. Again, these are not pro-Trumpers. How they're taking the red pill, how they're finally realizing the truth that, damn, Democrats are hypocrites when it comes to this democracy thing. We really don't actually live in a democracy. They don't really care about democracy, which, I mean, should have been obvious from the get-go. Okay, I mean, this country is, I mean, let's keep 100. It's not really a democracy. It's really a corporatocracy that is ran by a select few families, right? You know, like, how can you have a democracy where you have the same families that basically have been running the country for the past, 50 or 60 years, right? The Bushes, the Clintons, etc., right? We almost had 3 Bushes become president, okay? We had 2 become president. We always had 3 Bushes become president. How does that happen, right? How does that happen? How does that happen in democracy? You mean tell me that the Bush family is that talented? I don't think so, right? I don't think the Bush family is that talented. I think that at the end of the day, people got to realize that the Democrats and Republicans are just an illusion of choice. You really don't have a choice. They're basically the same, right? At the end of the day. Now, there may be some differences at the local level, but when you're talking about at the federal level, I personally believe they're damn near the same. Okay, there's not that much of a difference, right? But it's the illusion that you have a choice, right? Oh, you can pick Democrat or Republican, but try to be a third party outside of the Democrat-Republican monopoly, and guess what? You have no chance. You have zero chance. Well, why is that? It's because, again, Democrats and Republicans have literally rigged the system to make sure that nobody else outside of their two parties can win. And that ultimately polarizes this country. It's a terrible thing for this country because, again, you only have two choices. You only have two choices. So, again, when people want to say that this country's a democracy, right, or try to save our democracy, again, it's projection because the country is not a democracy, right? And the people that are saying that don't believe in democracy at all, okay?
Completely lost touch.
The other unfortunate outcome of this is that there will be a wave where people will talk about the big steal as this. And what people will say is that there was an attempt by the Democrats to really roadblock Trump's ability to be voted up and down by the American people. And that's disenfranchising the ability for people to vote. And I think that that's really unfortunate. And I wish that the Democrats would have thought about that in their calculus before engaging in what is really a deeply partisan thing to do. This will get overturned, but the damage will be long lasting, unfortunately.
Well, here's the thing. Democrats did think about it, right? And Democrats concluded we don't give a damn because they know they have the backing of the mainstream liberal media, right? Even though it's clearly anti-democratic, it's clearly hypocritical. What they're relying on is the brainwashing and the propaganda from their liberal media arm to come out here and to spew the talking points about how somehow, some way, keeping Trump off the ballot is going to save democracy, right? Overthrowing democracy to save democracy. Same thing with racism. Being racist in order to fight against racism, okay? This is classic Democrat stuff. But I really don't understand why people are so surprised by this. Why are people so surprised that Democrats go out of their way to overthrow democracy? Well, I mean, look, what's happening in the Florida primary, North Carolina, Tennessee, maybe some other states. They're straight up not allowing any of Joe Biden's opponents on the ballot, right? They're not allowing any of them on the ballot. It's just Joe Biden. So basically, Democrats are canceling primaries. Okay, Democrats in their own DNC, okay, it is well known that they try to skew things in the candidate's favor that they want to see win. They have a super delegate system that is completely undemocratic. They do not believe in democracy at all, okay? They don't. And I mean, that's been clear and obvious from the way that they even conduct their own elections, that they really don't believe in democracy. But all these people are now surprised and shocked that Democrats have shown themselves to be what they've always been, obviously, to me, right? Which is undemocratic, right? The Democratic Party is undemocratic. Again, everything is projection. Even the name of the party is projection. It's fascinating.
Unfortunately, that's a shame.
Totally. And Matt Taibbi had a good line. He said that only people who live in a bubble within a bubble could ever think a decision like this is a good idea. Here are the three bubbles. Number one, all of these judges were Democratic appointments. So living within the Democratic Party is the first bubble. The second bubble was the fact that they all went to Ivy League schools. This was actually a 4-3 decision. The 4 justices who went to the Ivy Leagues all voted for it. They thought this was a good idea. The 3 that went to Denver Law School, the non-Ivy League school, were all against it and wrote scathing dissents against it. So that tells you the second bubble is the Ivy League. The third bubble is people who've been totally marinating in the mainstream media and their coverage of this because they think that they can just conclude that Trump is guilty of an insurrection because it's just a fact according to the media they listen to. Trump has never been convicted of that crime. He's never even been charged with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, interesting dynamic that he brings up there about how you had the judges that went to Denver Law School, a non-Ivy League school. They have the ability to reason and process and understand exactly what's going on here, despite being liberal, right? And they say, I'm not actually sure we should agree with this, right? I can't get on board with this because clearly this is anti-democratic, right? But the Ivy League judges, though, they're on board with it, right? I mean, it seems to me that they're more emotional and lack the ability to reasonably think, and they are obviously political actors, right? Which, is par for the course when it comes to these politicians or these individuals that do come out of these Ivy League universities, right? They're pure ideologues, okay? They're pure partisans. They don't give a damn about law. All they give a damn about is their emotions and their power, right? That they're trying to accumulate. Because again, my democracy just means my dictatorship. That's exactly what it means, right? So again, it is a fascinating observation that the non-Ivy League judges decided to vote against this and all the Ivy League judges decided to go with it, right? It's amazing how the people that went to what's supposed to be the best universities in this country, in the world, period, seem to not have the ability to critically think. Like, they're blinded by politics and emotions and their Trump derangement. But the ones that didn't go to the Ivy League schools actually had the ability to critically think and to process and to understand the precedent that is being set here and the potential long-term ramifications of something like this. Again, because you're essentially just saying that, well, I think that he committed an insurrection, therefore he committed an insurrection, even though there are no criminal charges to support that accusation, right? Again, that's a very, very, very dangerous precedent that could easily be turned around and used against Democrats if Republicans, one, had a spawn, which they don't, and two, weren't basically on the same team as Democrats, right? So again, it's pretty fascinating to see people who, are not pro-Trump see the light, right? Start to realize exactly what's going on in this country and the persecution of Trump. And this is what I try to tell you guys. Stuff like this is only making Trump stronger because people who otherwise would not vote for Trump are like, damn, I guess I got to vote for this guy because they really trying to take this man out, right? They are really setting some dangerous new precedents in this country, right? They're showing overt authoritarianism in order to take this guy out. And basically a vote for Trump becomes a vote against authoritarianism, despite the fact that the mainstream liberal media has been yelling and screaming that voting for Trump is authoritarianism. But a lot of people are actually seeing it the exact opposite way due to the authoritarian tactics being used by Democrats to take the guy out. Again, a fascinating situation in politics right now. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.